Okay. So, Pro Skater 3 and 4 has been unofficially announced. I mean, it's pretty fucking well announced, judging by the release date of whatever's coming, most likely a trailer. I figured there could have been a slight chance that it was going to be a shadow drop, but I don't think so anymore, because they completely just flipped their fucking asses around on, you know, the whole release date time, and they fucking made it all local, so Australia isn't getting nothing early. If they were to do a shadow drop, I feel like they'd be releasing it, you know, to the basic like local time zone, whereas they just flipped it around. They want everyone to get the same thing at the same time, so it's probably going to be a trailer. Whatever, fine, good enough. It gives them time to get feedback from the audience and implement changes as they come, because I don't know, we don't know what to expect yet. If they just drop something, and then there's a big chance that they could have just made a fucking piece of shit, right? So, and especially considering the fact that it's not Vicarious Visions, it's not even an Infinity Ward, which is like where Neversoft is gone. You know, this very well could be a Robomoto situation. Hopefully not, but I just wanted to bring up some things that I'd like to see in this game. Aside from the improvements in the physics from 1+2, 1+2 is like, it's good. I mean, it's a fucking big step up from Pro Skater 5, but it's not as good as Pro Skater 4 felt still. And that's like, when you're making, that's the thing, is like fucking Pro Skater 1 and 2 with the physics that it had is better than the original Pro Skater 1 and Pro Skater 2. So in that regard, it's a step up for the remake. You can't even complain. It's got the reverts, it's got the freestyle, it's got grind switches, it's got double tap flips, it's got double tap grabs, it's got all sorts of shit like that. But it's still missing shit from Pro Skater 4, such as freestyle spins, spacewalks. I think Underground had the wall push, but that would be nice to see come back. Skitching you wouldn't really expect in Pro Skater 1 and 2 because the cars just fucking killed you in those games. So like, that's not really a loss. But when the fact that they're making Pro Skater 3 and 4 now, it's a weird combo. Because Pro Skater 3 was more similar to 1 and 2, especially with the way it handled vehicles. So I wonder if you're going to be able to sketch things like the cop cars chasing the fucking robber in LA, or if there'll be, what else was there? Like there's that ice cream truck in Suburbia. That would be cool. I wonder if they'll be adding sketching to Pro Skater 3 levels in content. They gotta have sketching because Pro Skater 4 had sketching, and you gotta fucking sketch the fucking professor's car in college, and you gotta... There's a couple instances I remember of it. I think you gotta sketch an animal in the zoo. I don't remember. It's been a while. But they can't just fucking release Pro Skater 3 and 4, make it a carbon copy clone of 1 and 2, but it has sketching now. You know, it's gotta have more than that. It's gotta have the fucking whole extended freestyle system, including fucking spins in the freestyle tricks. It needs proper pivots. The pivots in 1 and 2 were so weird. Even the DS games had better pivots. They need to just kind of complete some things like that. And the other thing too is Pro Skater 1 and 2, like the original games, they didn't have reverts. So the fact that the reverts in 1+2 were like, so they slowed you down. You couldn't do more than like 2 or 3 in a combo before like you just got fucking grinded to a halt, and then you couldn't really move out of the manual because you got no spacewalks. So I hope to see in Pro Skater 3 and 4 a little bit more of a lenient revert, because I know for fucking certain that the reverts were not that strict in those games, in either of them. So they gotta change that. They gotta make it a bit more lenient. You gotta be able to like, because from the way I remember it, it would slow you down that crazy if you did it on the same fucking vert ramp over and over again. But if you carried your revert around the fucking level from like one ramp to another and across the other side of the map, it wouldn't have nearly as hard of a punishment that the revert in 1 and 2 had. So that's got to be changed. Another thing too is the speed, I feel like, was faster in Pro Skater 4. So they got to up the speed cap. You should go faster in the remake. If they wanted to keep the weightiness of it, I'm sure they can get away with it, but they need to do some things to help with the feel of it. One huge thing, one of the biggest problems of Pro Skater 1 and 2, not the originals, but the remake, I'd argue the originals did this aspect actually better, is the animations. The animations in 1 and 2 were all jerky and bouncy at the same time. They almost felt like Project 8 being played at 2 times speed, but with like the stiffness of Pro Skater 5 kind of just like also added on top of that. I don't want to see that. There's a couple nice animations, like the nollie double flip looked like it came straight out of American Wasteland. That's cool. I like that, you know. That was a good animation. The rest of them, they kind of need work. And especially if they're going to have, like, let's say the 50-50 grind, for example. In Pro Skater 4 and 3, like, the 50-50, the skater kind of kept his arms pointing towards the nose and tail of the board. Whereas in the original Pro Skater 1 and the Pro Skater 2, the player had this fucking arms out balancing like a T-pose. So they kind of went for that style in the remake. Cool. I'm fine with that, you know? It looks goofy, but it's true to the originals in a sense. So I'm fine with it in 1+2, but in 3+4, man, they better fucking change the 50-50 animation and not just keep that weird T-pose balance, you know what I'm saying? Because that was just goofy. That would be really goofy to see in 3+4. I really hope to see like an animation style at least more similar to 3 or 4. They both had really good animations. Now this is a stretch, a little bit out there. Personally, if I was in charge of this shit, man, I'd be making an Apex system like Project 8, because that game had the fucking best animations in the series, in my opinion. That shit was smooth as butter, steez as hell. I like that shit. It's an unpopular opinion. I know a lot of the players in the community just don't like it. I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's like not as arcadey, you know? Proving Ground was like the same thing, but they made all the animations cancelable like the PS2 games. So it played like the PS2 games, but it had like the nice smooth, steezy animations. If they kind of found a nice middle ground like that, where they have like, you know, realistic looking animations paired with the fluidity and responsiveness of the PS2 games, I don't think people would complain too much about that either. Just the general Apex system I thought was great. To have like animations blend between 3 different states depending whether you're high or close to the ground, or you're in like a medium distance. It just made things look more fluid in that sense. The other thing too is like when you land into the grinds, a kind of impact the skater had. Pro Skater 3 and 4, like for example, if you jump off a building and land in a manual, you don't even bend your knees, you just land in the manual. That was different in Project 8 and Proving Ground, and that's something I kind of liked about the animation style. Now, if they're going to do something like that, because like Pro Skater 1 and 2 kind of had that, but it was a lot more bouncy. Like, you were like a spring with like extremely high tension. You sunk in and you sprung right back up, and it just looked weird. It looked unnatural. It looked just, I don't know, man. It needs work. It needs a lot of work. It was by far one of the weakest aspects of 1+2. That's something that absolutely needs to be addressed. I don't know for sure how the goal system is going to be structured, but if I were to do it, I'd say I would be looking at Underground 2 and American Wasteland for inspiration. So I would be taking the structure of having a career mode and then a classic mode, having separate stats on each, the career mode and the classic mode. So Pro Skater 4 would be the career mode, obviously. And in American Wasteland and Underground 2, they had the classic mode be the base for what the free skate stats would be, because the classic mode was just quicker. In American Wasteland, more so. Underground 2's classic mode was kind of huge. In 3+4, if they were going to make this one seamless experience, I don't think they should tie the stats together like they did with Pro Skater 1+2. In 3+4, they gotta split things up. So I'd base the free skate stats based off of Pro Skater 3, because you can run through all the fucking skaters. I mean, in Pro Skater 4, you have to run through all the skaters as well for fucking the different goals and shit. For free skate, it's just, there's too much game in Pro Skater 4 to, you know, base the free skate stats off of that. So I would go ahead and I'd make Pro Skater 3 the baseline for each of the characters' free skate stats. When 1+2 came out, there wasn't separate goal progression. There was just, you beat the game once, and then each of the skaters you just ran through and got their stat points afterwards. I don't want that to be the case in this game. I'd like it for them to actually respect kind of how the structure of 3 was, especially for fucking 3. Because 3, every skater had different goal positioning. They can't just choose one of the goal positioning and then just have the stat points different for each of the skaters. That's not enough, man. The skate letters were in different spots. The fucking tricks, the trick goals were different depending on if you were a vert or a street skater. And then the decks were in a different spot alongside the stat points. For the classic mode, being Pro Skater 3, I'd hope that is based off of, like, I hope it's just structured like the original. They gotta have all the original shit. Every skater's gotta have their original goal positions. Every skater's gotta have their original trick set. Because in Pro Skater 1 and 2, they just kind of did the way that Underground had it, where every skater, where there was just like this default trick set that every single skater had, which is goofy. I don't know. They shouldn't have changed that. They should have kept the original trick set for all the skaters. It makes each skater a unique character rather than just a skin. Because it really feels that way, especially once you get full stats on all the characters and they all play the same now. If they at least have their own trick sets, it makes them stand out from each other. Like 3 special tricks that are unique to each skater is not enough, man. They had, in Pro Skater 3, every skater had its own selection of grabs, their own selection of flips. It was the same thing for Pro Skater 1 and Pro Skater 2. I think Pro Skater 4 was also the same way. It was really just Underground that changed it and made it all just baseline. But Underground was about you, the skater, the creator character. Whereas Pro Skater 3 and 4 were still, you had to create a character, and that would be an option to play as, but you still have all the pros to beat the game on. That brings me back to 3+4 with the Pro Skater 3 goal structure, is that if they get rid of having each skater having, to go through the career mode themselves, then you're just removing a ton of the requirements for certain unlockables. You have to beat the game a certain amount of times to get different skaters. You have to beat the game a certain amount of times to unlock. So if you beat the game 3 times, you'd get Warehouse. If you beat the game 6 times, you got Burnside. And if you beat the game 9 times, you got Roswell. If they're remaking Pro Skater 3, this has to be there. I'm sorry, I don't care that Pro Skater 1 and 2 was made. I don't care that this game will probably largely play similarly to Pro Skater 1 and 2. This was a part of Pro Skater 3. This has got to remain in this game. And if they don't want things to be redundant, I'd say that they shouldn't copy-paste the original. Well, I don't think they should copy-paste the Pro Skater 1 and 2 versions of these levels. They should remake Warehouse, Burnside, and Roswell again, with maybe a closer to the original aesthetic kind of style. Like Warehouse having like the brown wood ramps with the arrows on them and the fucking metal ramps breaking them up. They could have a daytime Burnside again, which I would really like. I'd like, even if they just took the 1+2 Burnside and then they made it daytime, that would make me happy. I mean, it's like closer to a carbon copy paste, but like still, Burnside was night and it was just so dark, especially on PS5. The PS5 version without HDR was just like pitch black. So that was kind of goofy. So if they had a daytime Burnside unlockable in 3+4, that would be cool. I'd like that. I'd like that a lot. Roswell is like really the one level in 1 and 2. Well, there's a couple. But Roswell is like one of those levels that was like already really faithful to the original aesthetic. So like if they copy pasted that one, I wouldn't even be mad. But Warehouse and Burnside could at least be changed up a bit. And they have to be there, because those are unlockable levels. Those are secret levels from Pro Skater 3. So I don't give a flying fuck that those are Pro Skater 1 levels. They gotta be in the remake. Otherwise, it's not accurate. Another thing too, and this one I'm a bit iffier on, because I doubt they're gonna do it, but I still really want them to do it, is Oil Rig. I know Oil Rig was just an Xbox exclusive level, and it didn't really have much going on for it, otherwise just being an extra unlockable level you can play around in free skate. It had like one goal in it, which is to bust the 5 valves, and that would blow up the helicopter pad. But like, I don't know, why not? It's a Pro Skater 3 level. Let's fucking see it. It's not even like it's some like some obscure last gen Pro Skater 3 level that is like only a few people have seen or whatever. Like it's Pro Skater 3. It got cut because the game was, or the level wasn't ready by the time the game came out. And then the Xbox version came out a year later, so they had time just to cook the level up and fucking finish it. So cool, like, it's a Pro Skater 3 level. Fucking why not? My other thought, too, is And this one's an even further stretch. This one is highly unlikely to even, like, happen at all. But to see a fully realized version of Paris would be fucking rad. Because in that case, they could actually do a career mode expansion. And after Tokyo, there would be cruise ship. And then there could be oil rig with its own set of goals. And then after oil rig, it could be one final competition, kind of ending it off more like a traditional pro skater. Well, really only being 1 and 2, but ending it off with another competition in Paris. You know, Tokyo to cruise ship to oil rig to Paris. That'd be sick. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone on this one, but I think that would be fucking really dope. One thing about this remake, and this is one thing that kind of sucks, because I know this isn't going to happen for sure, because Vicarious Visions is gone. But if Vicarious Visions was actually the ones to be making this remake, I feel like they would actually kind of go out of their way to add sewers in Little Big World, because that was their original levels for Pro Skater 4 on PS1. And sewers was a good level. Little Big World I can go without, but sewers was a good level. I'd love to see that get some love, to get remade as like an unlockable secret level for Pro Skater 4, for example. I'm not really worried about Carnival or Chicago. I've heard, or not heard, but I've seen a couple people be like, oh, is Chicago going to make it in? I really hope Chicago doesn't get cut. Chicago's not getting cut, because Chicago has so many fucking of the goals in Pro Skater 4. It's got his whole list. I know it's a Matt Hoffman Pro BMX 2 tie-in, but it's still a Pro Skater 4 level in that sense, because it's got the whole career mode based around it. Like, crucial missions to the game. Whereas Oil Rig is just kind of like an extra level. So I see Chicago would be added in way before Oil Rig would be, but I'm still holding out for Oil Rig. I really want that to be remade. I think it would look gorgeous in the fucking, with the new gen graphics, with like Unreal Engine 4's like lighting and water shaders and all that. Like, throw some puddles around there, fucking places wet, throw some oil stains around, you know, it's an oil rig. It would look good, man. It would look good. And like the sunset vibe of the place in the original map, they could just lean into that, give it a nice orange golden glow. It would look great. That'd be super nice. That'd be fun too. That was a fun level. I mean, the Pro Skater 3 version, I know a lot of people don't like the bottom of it because it's really small. It's like the same map as American Wasteland, but American Wasteland just completely redesigned the whole bottom area. But the Pro Skater 3 one is still good, you know? To people who complain about the bottom area, I say skill issue, bro. It's not that bad. It really isn't. Stop falling in the water. So that's not the game's fault. I'd love to see that one remade. Another PS1 exclusive level that we're probably not going to see, but would be cool anyways, Downhill, with the little skate park on the bottom of it. That level doesn't really have that much going for it, really, but would be cool. Unlikely, but cool. But the coolest would be sewers, because that level's actually kind of dope. Like 3 little rooms that actually kind of flow together. Fucking underground vibe. That would be cool. What else can I say? I've read a lot of the suggestions in this. I know a lot of people want a better Creative Skater. This I agree with 100%, because the Creative Skater in 1+2 was better than Pro Skater 5, but a lot of things are better than Pro Skater 5. So, you know, like, I feel like even Proving Ground had a better Creative Skater, but and Proving Ground didn't even have, like, ladies, you know? It was just dudes. So, like, it'd be kind of cool to have, like, let's say, something to bring back would be from the PS2 games. Like, especially Pro Skater 3 and 4. Oh, I don't know if 3 had it, but I know 4 had it. Was the scalar sliders to make your shoulders and arms bigger, to make your jaw, your nose, the top of your head, your whole face, your feet, your hands, like your biceps and thighs, like to just scale all that on each axis, X, Y, Z. You could either make some abomination, or you could just make it like, you know, a normal dude. Completely up to you. That stuff would be nice. Another thing too is the way that Pro Skater 1 and 2 handled the color palettes was goofy. You had to make like your own custom color palette, and they had like a bunch of other squares that you can like choose from. And then if you wanted to have like any other color, you gotta like make a custom one and add it to a slot. And then like those slots would like translate over to literally every other piece. And you only had so many slots. Dude, the PS2 was able to do this. Just bring back the hue, volume, and saturation sliders. That's all you need. Simple, straight to the point, easy. It works. Tried and tested method. You don't need much more than that. Another thing from the original games that I want to see is the cheats that were unlockable in Pro Skater 3. Pro Skater 3 had some really cool cheats. There are some stupid ones. There was like snowboard physics because of the fucking Sean Palmer's like tie-in. There's like a demo of that game in Pro Skater 3, at least on the PS2 version. So they had the snowboard physics. They also had first person cam. That was dumb, but like, I mean, why not, you know? It doesn't take much. Yeah, it's disorienting as hell. Like, fuck that. Not many people are going to use it, but it's just dumb fun. I don't see why you can't add it. Another thing, too, outside of cheats, and it's something that Pro Skater 1 and 2 removed. I don't even know why. It doesn't even, like, make sense, honestly. Is the blood. I don't know why they would get rid of something like that. Like, we're not children. It's a T-rated game. The games have always had blood since the first one. It's just such an unnecessary thing to remove. Especially considering when you put into perspective that the original games would literally just let you toggle the blood off if you didn't want your kids to be seeing that when they play the game. You know? Like, it's not a big deal. It's such an easy fucking thing just to have, but I don't know. They decided to opt for a more family-friendly kind of aesthetic, and I don't know. Pro Skater 3 and 4, man, they had that personality of just like crude humor and like edginess of like the 2000s, and you know, like, it's just weird if they got rid of that. I mean, I get that we're in the new era and they gotta make fucking games for the modern audience, and I don't know, judging by just how games have been coming out lately, the modern audience doesn't seem to fucking exist. I think it's just a made up thing that these publishers just are pandering towards. They don't even exist. But that's beside the point. Bring back blood. Make it a toggle. Let us turn it off, let us turn it on. Another thing too, following off of the bails, is how in 1 and 2, when you bail, and then you get up from your bail, there's no actual getting up. It's just the character rewinds, and then he's like back into skating mode. It's cool. It's a cool concept, and I'm not saying they should get rid of it, but what I think they should do is kind of handle the quick get up sort of the way that Project 8 did, but instead of like flashing the screen to be just a big blinding white light in your face now, you can just have the rewind effect play when you press a button, and then you can have the character actually play a getting up animation if you press nothing, or a faster getting up animation if you just rapidly mash the X button. That would work. It's how it worked before. You know, and then you just have the additional, like, press square to fucking rewind up and then quick get up, you know, like, skip the whole animation. And then you get the best of both worlds. So, going through some of the suggestions in THPSX and 10K Rising, there's a lot of them. I made a few. Another one I forgot to mention was the grind sounds in Pro Skater 1 and 2. Oh my god. They are, like, it doesn't matter what the hell you're grinding. You could be grinding metal. You could be grinding concrete. You could be grinding wood. You can be grinding an electric wire. Doesn't fucking matter what you're grinding. It always sounds like you're grinding metal. It's like the same fucking metal sound with a slightly different pitch on each of them. It's like when you were grinding a log in Thug 2 or Thug 1, like fucking even in Pro Skater 3, fuck man, like it sounds like you're grinding a log. It sounds like wood, you know. And the same for concrete too. Concrete does not sound like metal under any scenario. You know, it should have like a nice scraping sound. So I hope for 3 and 4 they update some of the sound design, because Pro Skater 1 and 2, like, the ambient sounds were really good and all that, but the skating sounds were kind of lacking, especially with the grinds. The grinds, they all sounded the same in my ears, and I'd like to see some improvements in that regard. Bank drops, this is a stretch. This one's a stretch. So considering how far into the series they went in regards to mechanics in Pro Skater 1 and 2, if they want to further evolve playing style in 3 and 4 with some other late game mechanics, bank drops would be kind of huge. Kind of huge. They are cool, man. And like, especially with like the faster, floatier fucking gameplay style of the fucking PS2 titles. They're not floaty, but they're not weighty, you know what I'm saying? That's why they added bank drops in American Wasteland, is because you go fucking flying over the map at 100 kilometers an hour, and like you need to just drop somewhere. And like the thing that's cool about bank drops is like when you drop, you don't need to revert, you don't need to pivot, you don't need to do anything like that. You can land straight in the manual and you'll get a big speed boost. It's really fun for combos. Opens up tons of possibilities along the lines and the levels too. Just having bank drops everywhere. There's so much kickers that could actually be put to use for something more than just jumping off of. So bank drops would be cool. That would be cool. It's unlikely, but I think that would be a nice addition to make the game, you know, a little bit further ahead than what 1+2 was. What else? Oh, here's a cool suggestion. To add Create a Goal to the Create a Parks. Create a Goal is fucking such a no-brainer. It was in the, like, in the Thug games, you know. You could add the skate letters, combo letters. You go up, talk to someone, start a goal. I feel like with 3+4, if they're going to add Create a Goal, they should do it. They should allow for 2 ways of doing it. Because I remember when I'd be playing some of the custom maps that people made in 1+2, they would scatter like boxes and gnomes and shit like that around. As like the collectibles, you got to hit the 5 gnomes. If they just had like, if you could like place skate letters around the map, place combo letters around the map, set goal like scores or score goals, set a gap goal or 2, and then to be able to like set additional collectibles with like, you know, icons that like were used in any of the Pro Skater 3 levels, for example. That would be pretty cool. That would actually really evolve the Create a Park to a whole nother level. So you can not only make a level that you can go free skate in, but now you got goals to do in it as if it were like a Pro Skater 3 level. That would be fun, man. I feel like people would have that. There would be a lot more incentive to actually like make and share a park with the online community for that reason alone. It would actually really, really expand the fucking usage of the Create a Park. I can almost guarantee it. And then that also brings in the other point too, is like you could also have the underground style of Create a Goal, where you go up to somebody, you talk to them, and then the goal starts, and now you go pick up the letters. And now you go to somebody else, and you just go around the map, talking to all the skaters until you get all the goals done. And then you have best of both worlds. You can have the classic style goals, and you can have the Pro Skater 4 underground style goals. That'll be game changing, man. Game changing. And then to add on to the Create a Park stuff, to have hazards like water, fire pits, spike pits, shit like that, returning back into Create a Park, that would be huge. Adding more than one restart would be huge. Being able to expand and shrink the bounds of the Create a Park, that would be huge. Create a Park needs a lot of work anyway. One other thing is like with the smart objects in Pro Skater 1 and 2, they had the right idea, but they didn't have the time to cook it into what it should be because it was glitchy as hell. People will be using the smart objects to make like ground pieces. Or it doesn't even matter. Like, you could be, like, making a pool. And the pool is, like, kind of built into the ground a bit, right? But you can still grind the outside of it that's, like, attached to the ground piece. So you're just grinding the ground around. It's just not right. I don't know. It's to be able to go into the Smart Tool settings and just have a grindable node and just turn it off. So you can actually, like, make floor pieces and such. That would be huge. That would be fucking massive. That would be a massive improvement. So Pro Skater 3 had hidden combos. Like you can do Benny flips or Benny finger flips. You can do kickflip to indies, kickflip to melon. That would be cool to see come back. Another thing too would be to like set a custom restart. Pro Skater 1 and 2, I'm surprised they didn't have this. But this was a thing in the Underground games. I don't remember if 4 had it. I think 4 had it. I don't remember if 3 had it. I don't know about that one, but I'm pretty sure 4 should have. But it was in the menus. You can set your restart, and then you can go to your restart, kind of like holding in the skate series L1 and down, and then holding L1 and up to go teleport back to your spot. Same kind of concept. That would be handy, you know, especially like considering the maps got bigger in these games. To be able to just like go to the spot that you want to set up. Let's say you, this is like a cheat code I totally forgot about mentioning when I was talking about Pro Skater 3 cheats. But sim mode. And this was a Pro Skater 4 cheat. But if they add sim mode, there's going to be a subsection of people who are going to play the game for the sim mode, you know? So to go to restart and then just teleport right back to the top of the stairs that you were fucking doing tricks down. Someone's gonna love that. It would be handy. I've seen a lot of people talk about how they want the online lobbies from the old games to return. I agree with this too. The Pro Skater 1 and 2 online was, without a question, fucking just some last minute slap together. If they actually allow you to like start your own custom lobby and then have your friends join in it, and then you can free skate around, and then the host starts a game like Trick Attack, Graffiti, King of the Hill, Capture the Flag, Elimiscate, shit like that. That would be fucking dope. Man, that would make online and Pro Skater 3 and 4 so much more worth playing. Because I played 1 and 2s online until I got the fucking trophies that I needed so I can get the platinum. And then I was like, okay, good enough. I had my fun. It gets boring when the game is just kind of on auto server the whole time, you know. Doom Guy, Activision owns the license to Doom. Doom Guy was in fucking Pro Skater 3. Add him. Why not? Like, I'd understand if, like, Wolverine and Darth Maul don't make it in. Why not add Doom Guy? I just don't see why not. That would be a fucking pretty big missed opportunity if they didn't. Oh, so I want to just mention something about the Secret Skaters, actually, in Pro Skater 3 and I guess 4. Mike V was a Pro Skater 4 Secret Skater. They should get him back on the game. I'm sure he would fucking take it. If they have Number of the Beast in the Pro Skater soundtrack still, if they have Number of the Beast in the soundtrack still, then I feel like Iron Maiden would license out Eddie again. Once again, will be a huge missed opportunity if they don't put Eddie in the game if they have fucking Number of the Beast in the soundtrack. Don't know why they wouldn't. Don't fuck that one up. Come on. Like, fucking Eddie gets licensed out to random fucking mobile games all the time. I'm sure he's not that expensive. And then the Pro Skater 3 Secret Skaters. Like I said, I'd understand if Wolverine and Darth Maul don't make it in, but there would be no excuse to not add the non-licensed skaters as unlockable skaters, like Ollie the Magic Bum, and, well, obviously Officer Dick, and then there's also Demoness, there was a Neversoft Eyeball, there was X-Ray in the Xbox version. I don't see why they can't add him in. And then this one, I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna happen. It should happen, but will it happen? Kelly Slater with his fucking surfboard. I mean, I'm just saying, would be dope. But I will be setting fires to cars. There will be riots in the streets if they don't add the Neversoft Eyeball Skater. Seriously, they gotta. He was my favorite dude in Pro Skater 3. Gotta put him in. You just have to. He was fucking awesome. I want to skate around with him with like an HD take. It would be dope. That's gotta be the Neversoft tribute. It has to be. Because, I mean, like, Vicarious, they did like the whole Neversoft hanger. And that was pretty cool. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I thought it was cool. But come on, give Neversoft the respect. Give him the character. Give that freaking eyeball dude back. Get him back on a skateboard. Put him in the game. Nice and HD style, dude. Like, come on now. Come on now. They freaking better. I'll be disappointed. I'll be so disappointed. Yeah, I've seen lots of ideas. I've seen some people suggest boned ollies from our American Wasteland. That'd be cool. Once again, I feel like that's just as likely as bank drops, which is not very much. Burt slides, I've seen people say too. Just as likely as the boned ollie and bank drops. Not very much. To tails as well. Photo mode. Photo mode I've seen. Photo mode would be cool. I don't see why not. It's a skateboarding game. Blah. The photo mode could be as simple as you press pause, and then you just flick the right stick, and then it just goes to the camera mode and starts orbiting around the skater or something. And then you can like move it around with the left stick and all that. But a photo mode, I mean, come on. Like, I don't even know why Pro Skater 2 didn't, or 1 and 2 didn't have it. Like, those games both had replays in the originals. And they didn't have a replay in the remake either, so just saying. Just saying, Iron Galaxy. Come on now. Come on now. Yeah, I know. I don't know. There's a ton of ideas. Oh yeah, fucking that's another skater I forgot. Private Carrera. And fucking Daisy. Fucking, why not? Why not? That's, like, mostly what I've got to say. This video was just mostly kind of just a rant. I've just been thinking about the game, getting all excited and hyped up for it, and I really hope it's good. I look forward to the announcement tomorrow. I was planning on making this video earlier, but, you know, I got busy. I went camping on the weekend, and I had to work today, and I mean, I'm already past my bedtime, but fuck it, dude. I don't know. I just wanted to share my thoughts before the game actually comes out, and then we have more information than, you know, I already know. I wanted to speculate and kind of just get excited. Anybody who's actually listened this far, thank you for listening to my stupid fucking rant. That's cool. I hope you got some cool ideas or whatever out of this, and I'm excited about the game. I'm skeptical because there's a chance we could be burned. You know, this could be a fucking Robomoto situation, but I don't know. Piece of me also feels like maybe Activision has learned their lesson with that shit. You'd hope, anyway. You'd hope. Like, game developers, game publishers these days, like, you just can't. You can't trust them until you see what the hell they put out. So, hopefully the game is good. And I really hope that they keep the original aesthetic and, you know, just stay true to the games. Because these games are very unique in a lot of ways, you know, and there's not very much games like this. And the thing is like Pro Skater 3 and 4 both hold up so well to this day that if this remake plays any worse than Pro Skater 4 does, then there's fucking no reason for it to come out. I'm sorry, that's just the fucking fact of the matter. Pro Skater 3 and Pro Skater 4 hold up so well to this day that if they fuck up any part of the fucking movement, there's no reason for the game. There's just no point. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how shiny and pretty the graphics are. The game's got to play as good as the originals. At least. At least. Add more features to make it better. But, like, seriously, it's got to handle at least as good. Otherwise, there's no point. And then that's the other thing, too. The animations. Huge factor in the feel of a game. If the animations are not improved from what was in 1+2, then, like, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm still going to play it, but piece of me would rather just go back to the originals just for the fucking steez, bro. It's important. It's style, man. This is skateboarding that we're talking about. No more bouncy, jerky animations, man. Make this shit look good. Make it look smooth. Make it look flowy. That's, like, the biggest thing I can say is the animation's gotta be flowy, dude. Like, make it satisfying to play. So, that's my take. That's most of what I gotta say. That's most of my thoughts in regards to all this. If you got anything, any ideas, any insights, fucking leave them in the comments. Let's get excited, but, you know, keep a level head on our shoulders and not get irrational here. This game could be huge, man, because these are ambitious games on their own, and to just lump two ambitious fucking titles together is, like, that's a big task, and they got some big fucking boots to fill, so I hope they don't fuck it up. I really hope that it stays true to the original and pays the respect to Neversoft that these games deserve, man. I'm really excited to see that, like, finally something more than the first two games are getting remade for the 15th time in a row. Because they've just been milking the first two games for just way too long. And the only HD versions of Pro Skater 3 stuff we've seen is Canada, LA, and Airport. Which just also happens to be the same levels that were reused in Thug 2. So to see if, like, Foundry and Tokyo with their fucking shiny metal ramps and their lighting environments, dude, like, it's gonna look good. It's gonna look good. I only hope the animations look as good as the game's gonna fucking look, because I already know the graphics are gonna be, like, top notch. That's not even a question. But fuck. They better not fuck it up. They better not fuck it up. I'm looking forward to it. I want to be excited. I want to stay excited. I hope this game is going to be good. And I really hope they're not just like rehashing 1 and 2. This game needs improvements to properly be 3 and 4. 1 and 2 is good for what it is because it's a remake of the first 2 games, and it does the first 2 games better than the first 2 games. Some people might disagree, but the first 2 games are a lot stiffer these days, and they just don't. Their animations are better than than 1 plus 2, but in terms of like the controls and the physics, like 1 and 2 just feels better. I'd rather play that. And then it's just like nice because you could just run through, and it's like playing the classic modes in Underground 2 and Wasteland, you know, where you just like, I don't know, it has a different vibe. It has a different vibe, and the first 2 games like still hold a place and like still hold like merit. I mean, less so in the first game because you don't manual, and it's just kind of hard to play the first game after playing the rest of them. But yeah, no, they better not fuck it up. I hope they do these games justice. Thanks for listening to my frickin' rant. Hopefully, this wasn't too much of a headache. I just wanted to share my thoughts. And I'll probably talk about the trailer once it comes out anyway. So, yeah. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or good night to you, complete strangers. Thanks for watching my YouTube video. That's a fucking outro. Goddamn, bro. What the fuck?